Hi there, I'm Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Fizz Pendant, the 187000. Reason it's called a Fizz Pendant is because the handmade, hand-blown piece of glass looks a lot like club soda. It looks like a fizzy water. You have a bunch of these little air bubbles that are trapped in the glass that have the appearance that they're actually kind of moving upwards. It's very cool. Hubbardton Forge sources their glass from all over the world from the best studios, including here in Vermont. So it's something to keep in mind. So moving on from there, what can go into this? So you can go up to 60 watts max for an incandescent bulb. The design preference is going to be for a clear bulb, and this is an LED bulb. You can use incandescent as you want. If you want to go incandescent, like I said, 60 watt max, and that's because of the heat generated by that bulb. When you get into LEDs, it's really just, can the bulb fit into the glass? This is an A19 light bulb. It's an LED that I got at my local hardware store. It's called a phosphorus LED. That's why they all have those little lines in there. It's a dimmable fixture. You can, like I said, if you're going to be using an incandescent bulb, you can use any dimmer. If you're going to be using a LED, tell your installer that you want to use an LED, so they put the correct dimmer on the wall over there, and you're fine. So let's get into the size of the fixture itself. So the body of the fixture is going to be the bottom part, independent of what it's hanging from, which means it's going to be the glass and the housing just above it. We know that's 5.8 inches high and 4.1 inches in diameter. When we talk about overall height, now we're talking about the distance from the bottom of the fixture, which we know is the bottom of this, all the way to the ceiling way up there. So we are talking about some adjustable ranges to play with. Up on this pull-down menu, you're going to see you can choose those adjustable ranges. You have a short, standard, and a long. And how Hubbardton does that is they own a patent on this telescoping rod idea, where smaller rod telescopes into a bigger rod. Where they come together is called a clutch. And right in the side of this, right there, you can barely see it, is a little hex nut. So during your installation, you're going to bring this up and down, get it exactly where you want it to be. Then you're going to tighten this up and it'll lock it into place. At that point, you're going to be cutting your wires. Leave a little extra wire if you can, just in case someday if you want to bring this down or move this to another location with a taller ceiling. Okay, if you, excuse me, if you need this to be shorter than the short, which means shorter than 28.6 or longer than the long, no frog in my throat, longer than 58.7, we do custom lengths. So what you're going to do is you're going to shoot me an email and say, I'm looking at the Fizz, the 187000, I need it to be X, and that X has to be a single number, or a number, not a range. So you're going to tell me, if you need it shorter than short, you'd say something like, I'm looking for 24 inches overall height, or 22, or 25, or longer than the long, 112, 205, something like that. I take your email, I shoot it over to Hubbardton Forge, rolls through customs and engineering, and comes back to us, most likely with a range, an available custom range that will encompass the number that you gave me. We do customs all the time, so don't be afraid to ask, okay? So moving on from there, before we get into finishes, I do want to mention that on the housing that's holding the socket, you'll notice there's a brass ring, and that's always going to stay the same regardless of what finishes you get. And I'll touch on finishes in just a bit. So moving on to the top of this 5-inch round canopy, it's going to go over your standard 4-inch junction box without a problem. It has a knuckle at the very top of this. You can barely even know it's there. It allows this to be slope ceiling adaptable. Look at that, 45 degrees without a problem at all. To show you more about this, let's look at the installations instructions. They're on the site, on the page for this. Look over there, midway down, you're going to see a link. It's going to say, click here for installations instructions PDF. So click on that for me. Those are the papers that are going to be in the box when you get this. It shows you how this whole thing goes together, which is super easy. Also shows you some detailed drawings of the canopy and how it goes on the junction box. So take advantage of that if you guys can. Let's get into finishes now. If you're on the HandmadeInVermont.com website, look over on this side of the screen. Midway down, you're going to see a tab. It's going to say Finishes Help Guide. Click on that for me. There's going to be a video on there of me talking to you guys about the differences in Hubbardton Forge finishes and how they can look on different types of forging. I'm going to be talking about a chart a little farther down on the page. You'll see it next to me here. It's going to kind of go over the differences between heavy forging and non-heavy forging, and it'll be talked about in that video. So it's really important that you kind of watch the video, use the chart. You can click on that chart on different things. So you can click on dark smoke and a big page will pop up and show you lots of different things in dark smoke. Click on burnished steel or natural iron, it'll do the same thing. But it's really important that you understand how Hubbardton Forge's finishes are kind of divided into translucent and opaque and how they can look on different fixtures. Our showroom in Vermont has we're up to 400 Hubbardton forged fixtures spread across 2 floors. We have a What's on Display page. It's way up there in those red tabs again, so click on that and you can see what we have to show you. That changes all the time because we're always adding things as they come out. Showroom's open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. We have an amazing clearance center here too. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued things, and showroom samples. If you were coming to visit us, bring a good-sized vehicle, something like a big SUV or maybe a small truck or something like that, because you might find something in the clearance center that you want to take home, and it's a lot of fun to go through. 75% off MSRP is an amazing bargain, so you should really take advantage of it if you can. Like I said, we're open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can call us at 802-446-2400 during business hours. You can email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. We love to answer emails. When you buy your Hubbardton forged fixtures from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. There's no tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont, and we're the only dealer with 90-day returns and no restocking fees. No one else even comes close to that. Some larger items are non-returnable. We'll always tell you about that. It'll be in the description thing, that part of the description underneath on the very bottom. So keep an eye out for that. We also offer a rush program. Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get product out. They don't stock anything. That's how you're going to get all your finishes, your adjustable ranges to play with, all those things. We can cut that time in half, and it's super inexpensive. If you want to know more, drop a quick email, and I can walk you through the whole thing, okay? So, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Love to see you in our showroom sometime, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.